Imagine, it's night. A heavy silence blankets the forest, broken only by the whisper of the wind through the towering trees. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient wood. In the darkness, a lone figure moves cautiously, a young man, his heart pounding in his chest, his hands gripping an old, crumbling map. His name is Arian, and he has begun a journey from which no one has ever returned. His grandfather's voice still echoed in his mind. Do not seek the lost stone. Power within it is meant only for those who can truly understand it. But Arian refused to live in the shadow of old legends. He needed answers. He needed to know why so many before him had failed. What was it about this ancient relic that made it so dangerous? Every step deeper into the forest filled him with both excitement and unease. The ground beneath his feet was damp, the leaves whispering secrets as they crunched softly under his boots. The trees loomed over him like silent guardians, their twisted branches forming an intricate maze that seemed to close in around him. Suddenly, a rustling in the underbrush. Arian froze, his breath caught in his throat. His pulse quickened. Glowing eyes flickered in the shadows. A pair. No, 3 pairs. Wolves. He had read about them, silent hunters of the night. He reached for the small dagger at his side, knowing it would do little against a pack. But just as he prepared to defend himself, the wolves hesitated. Then, as if answering some unheard call, they turned and vanished into the trees. Arian exhaled sharply. Was it luck, or something else? Hours passed as he pressed on, the forest growing denser, the air heavier. Then, through the thick mist, he saw it, a crumbling temple, half swallowed by time. Its massive stone pillars were covered in vines, and the ancient carvings on its walls seemed to glow faintly under the moonlight. He stepped forward, fingers tracing the strange symbols etched into the stone. They told a story, of seekers, of trials, of those who came before him. But one line stood out, only the worthy shall leave with the truth. He swallowed hard and entered the temple. The air inside was cool, and still, as if frozen in time. His footsteps echoed, each sound magnified in the vast emptiness. At the center of the chamber, upon a raised pedestal, sat the object of his quest, the lost stone. It was smaller than he had imagined, smooth and dark, yet pulsing with an eerie blue light. Arian's breath caught in his throat. He had found it, but was he truly ready? As his fingers brushed the surface, the entire temple seemed to shudder. Dust rained from above, the carvings along the walls shifting as if awakening from a deep slumber. A voice, low, ancient, and filled with power, echoed through the chamber. Only those who seek truth may leave this place. A figure materialized before him, a translucent guardian from another time. Its hollow eyes bore into him, as if searching his soul. Why have you come? The guardian demanded. Arian steadied himself. To find the truth, he said, his voice firm. The guardian studied him for a long moment. Then, with a wave of its spectral hand, the ground beneath Arian changed. The walls of the temple stretched and twisted, transforming into a vast chamber filled with floating symbols. A test. Arian's mind raced. The symbols, he had seen them before. They were part of the inscriptions outside. Each told a piece of the temple's story. He had to find the right sequence, the true path. He reached out, touching the first symbol. A deep hum filled the chamber. He pressed the second. The light around the room flickered. Sweat dripped down his brow as he chose the third. Silence. Then, the symbols aligned, glowing brightly. He had passed. The guardian nodded. You do not seek power. You seek knowledge. And so, the stone shall reveal its truth to you. The pulsing blue light of the relic intensified, wrapping around Arian's hands, sinking into his skin. He gasped as visions flooded his mind, memories of those who had come before, their successes, their failures, their final moments. And then, something more, glimpses of the world beyond, of secrets, buried deep within the past. When the light faded, Arian staggered back, his breath ragged. The stone now lay still, its energy transferred into him. He understood now. The journey was never about claiming the stone, it was about proving oneself worthy of the knowledge it held. By morning, Arian emerged from the forest, but he was no longer the same. His eyes, once filled with youthful curiosity, now held the weight of wisdom. The villagers whispered as he passed, sensing the change in him. The legend of the lost stone had lived on for centuries, but now, Arian was part of that legend. Years passed, and his story became just another tale, told in hushed voices to children who dreamed of adventure. And then, one day, in the dim light of an old library, a young boy stumbled upon an ancient, crumbling map. His heart pounded with excitement as he traced the faded lines with his fingers. Somewhere in the world, a secret still waited to be uncovered. And so, the journey began again.